Good evening there, everybody. This is Scott Manning coming to you live from Scott Manning YouTube Sports Talk Live. I want to thank all my loyal viewers for being with me here tonight. We have a lot to talk about here in the next 20 minutes to half hour or so. I'm glad you guys are with me tonight. We have a lot we need to talk about. First things first, I'm just going to jump right into the biggest story of the day so far. Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit has failed a post-race drug test, which means he could possibly get disqualified from winning the Kentucky Derby and give second-place finisher Milano first-place honors for winning this year's Derby. Churchill Downs has banned Hall of Fame trainer Bob Baffert from entering any horses and from entering Churchill Downs, period. Baffert has denied any wrongdoing, of course. And all this is how I feel right now. It is a sad day in the world of horse racing. The sport has been plagued with drug tests, with drug issues, steroids on their horses. As it stands right now, the win will stand. But, however, I will say this. It could cause more trouble than good. A positive test, that means one thing. The win stands for now, but Medina Spirit could be disqualified for having that drug in the system, for that positive drug test. And his chances of a triple crown are done. But this is a sport that has been baffled and has had trouble with the sport of horse racing has had trouble over the last few months. With all these positive drug tests going on right now, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's sad for the sport. The sport of horse racing a lot of people become fans of horse racing during this time of year. This is the time of the year where they jump in and become fans. But when you have a Triple Crown winner, but when you see something like this, it just makes me sick. And I'm so disappointed. Bob Baffert, I had a lot of respect for him as a trainer. I really did. But for him to go out and do this, he should be ashamed of himself, and this is how I feel. It's got my phone's got my sound effects on it, just real quick. Just to let you know, FYI. But this is a sad day for the sport. And I'll tell you right now, Bob Baffert, you should be ashamed of yourself. If it comes back you had something to do with it, shame on you. That's just a real quick synopsis of what I think of what has happened in the Derby and what's happened with Medina Spirit. I picked him to win. But what about all those people who did pick him to win? What happens to their bets? We don't know. Only time will tell that. But right now, I'm so disappointed with Bob Baffert. I'm so disappointed in him. I don't know what to say. Bottom line. Okay, let's move on. Folks, if you have stock in the Los Angeles Dodgers, this is what you need to do. Sell. If you have any stock in the Los Angeles Dodgers, you need to sell it right now. The Dodgers have dropped the last 5 series. They've lost 5 straight series. They have lost 14 of 19 games. They have a .217 batting average, only second worst to the Detroit Tigers. That is sad. I mean, at the start of the season, they were hitting .271. They were doing everything right. Now, all of a sudden, they've lost 5 straight. They've lost to the Padres 3 out of 4. They lost to the Reds 2 out of 3. They got swept by the Cubs, and they lost 2 of 3 from the LA Angels. Give the Angels credit. They played their hearts out. A 2-1 victory yesterday after that 14-11 battle on Saturday. That is just something to think about. And I mean, Trevor Bauer, he pitched 6 solid innings, gave up 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. Those 2 earned runs were the difference today. The Dodger bats went cold except for yesterday, and that's all there is to it. Here's a few cases in point. Mookie Betts, for this series, 4 for 10, 5 RBIs, 4 walks, 1 home run, but he did strike out twice. Corey Seager, 6 for 12. He hit 500 in this series with 2 walks and RBI, but he did strike out 3 times. Justin Turner, 2 for 11, 2 walks, and RBI. He had a double, an RBI, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Max Muncy, 2 for 10 with a run, 2 RBIs, 4 walks, and he struck out 3 times. The Los Angeles Dodgers, they need a wake-up call. They're forgetting this is not a lot of people have said the Dodgers championship should have an asterisk because last year's World Series was a 60-game. Last year's season was a 60-game sprint. But I will say this, though. The Dodgers are struggling. No doubt in my mind. And also, too, in all fairness, I think the Dodgers are starting to realize it's getting harder. But at this moment, this is what the Dodgers are going through. It is a nightmare what the Los Angeles Dodgers have been going through. They lose 2 or 3 from the LA Angels. They're dead last in the American League West right now. And I've never seen anything like this in my life. I've seen good teams and I've seen bad teams. The Dodgers are the reigning world champs. They're not playing like them. Justin Turner leads all hitting departments and everything right now. And the Dodgers can't do anything. Is it going to get any easier for him? No. Dodger manager Dave Roberts needs to sit down with these guys and say, hey, you need to wake up. We got to get moving here. We got a long way to go. We got a long series ahead of us. But the truth of the matter is, I have never seen a Dodgers team struggle like this. The reigning world champs. A lot of people are calling for an asterisk. I can understand that. I understand your feelings. But at the end of the day, the Dodgers are still world champions. But they may not be for long if they keep playing like this. Lose 14 of 19 games. They're only hitting 217 as a ball club in those last 14, 19 games. This is sad. And the bottom line is this: the Dodgers have dropped 5 straight. They got to get moving now, and they got to get red hot real quick, or they're going to be an afterthought before we even hit June. That's just something to think about right there. Well, folks, I'm going to say this, guys. I'm not going to talk about the National League West. I want to do something different tonight. I want to talk about the American League Central. No one's talked about the AL Central all since the season started. The Chicago White Sox are in first place by 1 game over the Cleveland Indians. The Indians got rained out today, and they were supposed to play the Reds. That game's been moved to August 9th. That'll be addressed another time. But the Chicago White Sox have swept the Kansas City Royals, and the Royals have lost 9 straight games. How embarrassing. And as far as the White Sox go, they won their last 4 out of 5. Not a bad deal. But if you think about some of these names that I'm about to mention, you'll see why the White Sox took this series. Yerman Mercedes, 4 for 14, 3 runs, a double, a triple, 4 RBIs, but he struck out twice. Jose Abreu, big name right there on the south side, 4 for 12 with 2 runs, 3 doubles, 4 RBIs, a walk, but he struck out 4 times. Tom Anderson, 4 runs, a double, 2 walks. He struck out 6 times. And Yoan Makeda, he was 3 for 12 with a double, 3 runs, 3 RBIs, 2 walks, but he did have 5 strikeouts. The White Sox won today after a big win. The White Sox swept the Royals, and I mean the Royals at one point had the best record in all of baseball. Now they've lost 9 straight. But how did the Royals fare in this series? Salvador Perez, 4 for 12. All 4 of those hits were in the opener of this series, and he had 2 walks. Whit Merrifield, 3 for 11, a run, a double, 2 RBIs. He struck out twice. Carlos Santana, the former Indian, 2 for 8, 4 walks, and a strikeout. Andrew Benintendi, he was 2 for 12, 4 strikeouts, and that was it. That's all you can say. The Royals have lost 9 in a row. The White Sox, they're going in the right direction, but you boys on the south side, you better watch out. The Cleveland Indians are hot on your tail. And that's all there is to it. And that's the bottom line, people. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I have never seen a team like this in all my life. Here's the truth of the matter. The White Sox are going to have fun. They're playing the Minnesota Twins starting tomorrow. And we'll have to wait and see how that series goes. Now, you know what I want to do right now? I want to give you guys an idea to look ahead. I want to do a brief look ahead real quick. The Cardinals and the Brewers. This is a huge series. We're talking about the top of the National League Central. The Cardinals own a 2-game lead. And this is a huge series starting on Tuesday. I rarely do this, but I need to do it tonight because this is a biggie. And this is a big one, and I'm just going to tell you right now. It's going to be... This is a huge one. The St. Louis Cardinals, Milwaukee Brewers. So the opening game on Tuesday, I got the matchups ready. Kwon Hein Kim will be going for the Cardinals on Tuesday night. He has a 1-0 record with a 3.06 ERA and 18 strikeouts. Freddie Peralta will be going for the Brewers on Tuesday. He has a 3-1 record with a 3.38 ERA, 53 Ks on the season. And all I can say is this. Now, the Wednesday matchup. This is the one that would have the Cardinals worried. John Gant. He has a 2-3 record. However, he does have a 2.15 ERA and 25 Ks on the season. Brandon Woodruff. He is 2-1 with a 1.73 ERA and 51 Ks on the season. That is going to be a fun matchup on Wednesday. Now on Thursday, the Cardinals have released their starter. Jack Flaherty will be going. He has a 6-0 record with a 2.83 ERA and 42 strikeouts. Now what in the world is going on with the Brewers on the Thursday matchup? Are they too scared? Or are they going to be too chicken and they're going to feel like doing this? Now, Jack Flaherty gets to start on Thursday. The Brewers started that. Now, the Thursday game is a Thursday afternoon game. Keep that in mind. But let's talk about the St. Louis Cardinals hitting for a second. Paul DeJong. He does have 7 home runs with 17 RBIs this season, but he's only hitting 186. And this is how I feel right now. And I think St. Louis fans would be concerned too. Dylan Carlson. He's one of the best hitters that the Cardinals have. A 303 batting average, a 380 on-base percentage, and a 471 slugging percentage. It just makes me want to say this. Not that.
House of pleasure.
Yeah. And Nolan Arenado. He beat up his old team, the Colorado Rockies, and the Cardinals swept the Rockies. Arenado has 23 RBIs, 6 home runs, and a 281 batting average. Nice. And for the Milwaukee Brewers, Travis Shaw. 5 home runs, 22 RBIs, and a 220 batting average. Avisail Garcia. He's hitting 273 right now with a 347 on-base percentage and a 409 slugging percentage. The question is, who do you give it to? In your opinion, how does the series go? The Cardinals need to at least win 1. They cannot afford to get swept. If the Cardinals can take 2 out of 3, they're in the driver's seat. But the Brewers, on the other hand, they got to get a sweep if they want to leapfrog St. Louis. There's no 2 ways about it. There's no avoiding that at all. The Brewers have to get a sweep. If the Cardinals can win 1, that would be a help. And that if the Brewers do take 2 out of 3, we're going to be at the top of the very hotly contested National League Central. It may be, and think about this too. It's a battle of the beer cities. Anheuser-Busch versus Miller Brewing. That would be cool. I wish I would have had something along those lines. And I may be closing the show with this. I may be having a Brewers-Cardinals thing before we close the show, and I'll give you my pick on that series. after bid. Now let's talk about the NBA here for a moment. The Miami Heat have put the Boston Celtics on the brink of the play-in playoff round. The Heat beat the Celtics today 130 to 124. You think it was a close game? It was close on the scoreboard, but that was about it. The Celtics were down by 26 at the half. These two teams will face off again on Tuesday. The Heat, the Miami Heat and the Atlanta Hawks are tied, but the Hawks own the tiebreaker. That's the big thing on head-to-head matchups. That is huge. If the Hawks and Heat stay where they are, they're in the driver's seat. But right now, the Boston Celtics have to win out to have any chance of avoiding the play-in playoff. Miami's Jimmy Butler today had 26 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists, and 2 steals. For the Boston Celtics, Evan Fournier had 30 points, 5 assists. Jason Tatum, 29 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. That was it. And right now, the Boston Celtics, I'll say it again, the Celtics are the 7th seed. And that means they would have to play on that. They would have to do the play-in playoff thing. That is a big, big nightmare. And I'll tell you right now, the Celtics are about as nervous as can be, and there are a couple of things right now. The Celtics are a train wreck, and they feel like jumping out the window if they lose in the play-in playoff. Also, too, today in the world of the NBA, the New York Knicks beat the LA Clippers 106 to 100. Derrick Rose and Reggie Bullock led the Knicks into a big victory today. Derrick Rose, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. Reggie Bullock, 24 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. And keep in mind, Derrick Rose came off the bench and did that. And for the LA Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, 29 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Paul George, 18 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, not anywhere near enough. The Clippers are in the playoffs. It is official. They are in. They're just trying to get in the play for seeding. The New York Knicks, they face the Los Angeles Lakers on Tuesday, and right now the Lakers are playing. I don't have any information on that game. I do apologize for that. And speaking of the Los Angeles Lakers, the Lakers have not been without LeBron James and Dennis Schroeder for the last few games because LeBron James has been injured and Dennis Schroeder is following COVID-19 protocols. The Lakers are becoming a nightmare and they're becoming a train wreck. And right now, the Lakers organization, and I'll tell you what, I mean, right now, Anthony Davis just feels like doing this. What is going on with the Los Angeles Lakers? The Lakers have lost 8 of their last 10 games. Right now, they're playing the Phoenix Suns. I'm not going to lie to you. But the Lakers have lost 8 of their last 10 games. They have not been without LeBron. They have not been without Dennis Schroeder. Is it time for the Lakers to panic? I'm not sure about that. The jury, in my opinion, is still out. However, I will say this at the end of the day. The Lakers are going in the wrong direction because of a lot of things. They haven't had LeBron. AD's been hurt. Their 2 biggest players. And LeBron James, he's whining and grinding, saying, I hate this play-in playoff picture. I hate that. It should not be happening. Hey, LeBron, the Lakers are in this position because you haven't been around. You've been too busy whining and crying about everything else. Okay, I grant you've been injured. I'm not going to make that up. You have been injured? Yes. However, I will say this. LeBron James needs to just shut up and play the game. He's whining and crying about everything else. If the shoe was on the other foot, and just a few months last year, he was saying, I like this play-in playoff thing. I think it's good for the NBA. Now, all of a sudden, the shoe's on the other foot and you hate it? Make up your mind, dude. That's all I got to say about that. Now, let's talk some NASCAR. Martin Truex, today in Darlington, got his third win of the season. He led 248 of the 293 laps in today's race. That includes the final 105 for his third win of the season. Kyle Larson finished second. That is his 7th top 5 finish of the season. Kyle Busch backed up his win last weekend in Kansas with a win, with a 3rd place finish. And it's his 6th top 10 in the past 7 races at Darlington. Now, Kyle Busch won his only race there way back in 2008. That was the last time Kyle Busch took a victory in Darlington. Folks, the Darlington race today was very entertaining for a lot of reasons. Number one, it was Mother's Day. It was a retro event. Some of the greatest paint schemes I've seen. I saw Corey LaJoie with the number 7 Xerox, the olden colors by Alan Kowicki. I saw Chase Elliott with his car number 9, with the Alan Kowicki Hooters paint scheme that he had all the way back in '92. And also today, I saw Joey Logano drive the old Ferrari paint scheme that Mario Andretti had when he scored his first F1 win at the South African Grand Prix all the way back in 1971. It was a great race in Darlington today on this Mother's Day. And Martin Truex got the job done today. It was a beautiful event. It was a great race. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. It was a great Mother's Day event. It was a great race. Not one scratch or injured driver. Kurt Busch, he hit the wall. He had a bad day. He hasn't had a good day in Darlington in a long time. Brad Keselowski, he was hoping to come home a winner today. He finished 3 laps down off the pace. And that's all you can say. A great race today in Darlington. Next up, they go to Dover next Sunday onto the Monster Mile. And you know how much the Monster Mile loves to gobble up race cars. I love to call Dover Downs. I love to call Dover the Monster Mile Junkyard, because there's going to be a lot of cars headed for the junkyard before the 400-mile race is over. Coming up next Sunday. The NTT IndyCar Series was off on this Mother's Day weekend. And like I said earlier, the Texas Two-Step has been run. Now, it's time to get serious. We get ready for Indianapolis. Before the 500-mile Speed Classic, we had the Gmr Grand Prix Sunday at 2:30 on NBC. Pato O'Ward, Scott Dixon, Colton Herta have won races already this season. Will we have a new winner? You know the Penske team is going to be hungry, and it's Indianapolis. I know it's a road race, but still, a win in Indianapolis is a win in Indianapolis. And then mark your calendars, folks. Sunday, May 30th, the 105th running of the Indianapolis 500, the biggest 500-mile automobile race in the world. Who will come home the winner on May 30th? Will it be Takuma Sato, the defending champion? He has a chance to be a 3-time winner. Will it be Helio Castroneves? If Helio's in the starting field, look out. He's going to be going for number 4. And if that happens, I'll be shocked. And I'll say this right now, and I will do this, and you're hearing it first, folks. If Helio Castroneves wins number 4 at the Indianapolis 500, I will get on my knees and I will say his praises, and I will say I will never disrespect Helio again if that happens. But we got a long way to go before we get there. We still got a few weeks yet, just to let you know. All right. Now, I promised you guys I'm going to give you a pick for the Cardinals Brewers series starting on Tuesday. But I'm going to let another YouTube video do this. And this is going to be an easy one. And I think you'll recognize this tune. And this to give you an idea of who's going to win this series. Let's see here. My pick for the series, or this upcoming series between the Cardinals and the Brewers, I'm going with the Cardinals. And the Busch Beer song just gave you the answer who my pick was going to be. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for my closing thoughts on this weekend. And I'm not going to be the sports fan. I'm going to step away from the sports fan of it, and I'm going to talk to you like an actual person. Mother's Day was celebrated. And I don't also want to take all the moms out there a chance if I didn't have a chance to wish all the moms out there a happy Mother's Day. And I'm so glad to have a lot of the women who I call a mom in my life. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to speak to you from the heart. It was almost 11 or 12 years ago, I lost my mom to cancer. There is not a day that I think about it. I don't think about her. Mom, I love you. I miss you. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't stop and think about her. And all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. And I want to thank all of you moms. I want to thank all the women in my life who have been like another mom to me. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for it. Mom, I love you. I miss you. I think about you every day. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't stop and think about her. I really don't. Okay, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me. I will be back here Friday at 12 noon with the Scott Manning YouTube Weekend Kickoff Show. I'm going to get you ready for an important series. The Cardinals I'm going to be talking about the Cardinals again because they got a series against the Padres coming up. And I'm going to get you ready for the upcoming weekend. It's going to be a fun weekend. We're going to have a lot to talk about. I want to thank all of you guys so much for being with me here on this night. Thank you so much for being with me, and God bless. Good night, everybody, and I thank you.